There comes a time in every person's life when they must decide, will I live my life by reaction or by intention? Will I allow the world to shape me, push me, disturb me, or will I master the power of calm, the poise of the unshakable? Because the truth is this, most people are prisoners of their emotions. They rise and fall with every comment, every opinion, every delay, every storm. They live their lives like leaves in the wind, blown by whatever chaos the world decides to throw at them that day. But the few who rise, the few who lead nations, build empires and endure every fire without losing themselves. They have learned the rarest art of all. They have learned to act like nothing bothers them. Not because they don't feel, not because they're numb, but because they've mastered control of the one thing that separates the powerful from the weak, their own mind. You must learn to be calm in the middle of chaos. You must learn to be composed when most are crumbling, because the world will never stop testing you. Delays will come, betrayals will happen, critics will talk, and if you give your peace away every time the world knocks on your door, you'll never have the energy to build anything that lasts. Look back through history. Abraham Lincoln, ridiculed and defeated time and time again before he ever touched greatness. Thomas Edison, laughed at, mocked, and doubted, yet calm in his laboratory, failing forward 1,000 times without losing his mind. Why? Because they were anchored in purpose. And when your life is anchored in something deeper than emotion, something greater than ego, you become dangerous to the world that wants to control you. When you learn to act like nothing bothers you, you are not pretending. You are practicing emotional discipline. You are becoming the commander of your inner world, and until you own that battlefield, you'll always be at the mercy of people who don't deserve to hold your attention. Listen closely. You don't rise by yelling louder. You don't win by reacting faster. You win by becoming untouchable within. They can take the stage, the spotlight, the moment, but when you've trained your mind to remain steady, you'll outlast every show and every season. This is not about faking peace. It's about developing the strength to choose your state. Deliberately, daily, relentlessly. Because mindset is not motivation. Mindset is muscle. And like any muscle, it must be torn before it becomes powerful. You will be tested. The people closest to you will doubt you. Life will delay you. Obstacles will stack against you like bricks, and that's when most people fold. But not you. Not if you've made the decision that your energy is too sacred to be wasted. Not if you've decided that your mission is too critical to be thrown off course by someone's opinion, someone's ignorance, someone's drama. You see, it's easy to be composed when everything's going right. But true mastery is measured in the furnace. Can you remain calm when your business is failing? Can you hold your ground when everyone walks away? Can you keep building when no one claps, no one sees, and nothing seems to be working? Because that's when you become unstoppable. When your peace no longer depends on your progress. When your power no longer comes from what people think, but from who you've decided to become. This is what Hill meant when he wrote of definiteness of purpose, a mind that is directed, unmoved by distractions, and entirely focused on the mission. The mission is not comfort. It is not validation. It is growth. It is greatness. It is contribution. And those things come with a price. You will have to ignore the noise. You will have to walk past the petty. You will have to smile through the shade, through the delay, through the betrayal, and say, I am still here. I am still building. I am still becoming, because life is not happening to you. It's happening for you. Every interruption is a test. Every criticism is a mirror. Every challenge is an invitation to strengthen your calm. So how do you act like nothing bothers you? You stop responding to every tug on your attention. You stop explaining yourself to people who never intended to understand you. You stop letting temporary emotion destroy permanent opportunity. You start waking up with intentional silence. You start training your breath like a warrior. You start visualizing your day, not just what will happen, but how you will respond. You start seeing obstacles before they arrive. So when they come, you are already ready. You don't let the world set your tone. You don't let emotion write your story. You respond with vision, not with ego. There is something profound that happens when you realize that most things don't deserve your reaction. You free up space for creation. You free up space for presence. You free up space to think, build, grow. Most people never build anything great because they're too busy reacting to comments, to drama, to fear, to failure. And every reaction costs them momentum. It drains their time, their energy, their focus. And without focus, you are powerless. But the man or woman who acts like nothing bothers them, who remains rooted in the face of storms, who walks into rooms with calm, not chaos. They command attention without demanding it, because peace is power. In a noisy world, silence is magnetic. In a reactive world, poise is rare. In a scattered world, presence is priceless. You don't need to chase power. You need to become the kind of person that power is drawn to. And that begins with the discipline of your state. Stop letting every inconvenience dictate your emotions. Stop letting every opinion define your worth. Stop giving your power to things that do not move your vision forward. You are not here to win arguments. You are here to win your future. The future doesn't belong to the easily rattled. It doesn't belong to the offended, the impulsive, or the constantly distracted. It belongs to those who have trained themselves to remain focused, graceful, and grounded, no matter the weather. You must understand, in a world obsessed with speed, emotion, and noise, calm is a superpower. It is the quiet confidence that you are in control, not just of your decisions, but of your destiny. Because once you master the mind, everything else falls into place. Clarity becomes sharp. Vision becomes vivid. And your actions begin to carry a force that can only come from inner alignment. You see, when you react emotionally, you become predictable. And the moment you're predictable, you're controllable. Anyone can push your buttons. Anyone can throw you off track. But when you decide, I will not give my peace away, you become unbreakable. This isn't detachment. This is dominion. Dominion over your impulses. Dominion over your fears. Dominion over the chaos trying to rob you of your mission. Think of the greats. Martin Luther King Jr. stood on podiums while hatred stared him in the face, and yet his voice remained calm, steady, anchored in vision, not because he wasn't burning inside, but because he understood the power of composure and leadership. Emotion has its place, but purpose must lead. You want to change your life? Then guard your emotional energy like it's gold, because it is. It is your currency. It fuels your actions, your focus, your creativity, your presence, and when you waste it on the meaningless, the petty, the temporary, you bankrupt your future. The winners in this life are not the loudest. They're not the ones constantly reacting, defending, proving. They are the ones too focused on where they're going to be distracted by where they've been. It's time to stop explaining. It's time to stop apologizing for evolving. It's time to stop getting pulled into small conversations with small minds. There is power in being unavailable to nonsense. Power in being untouchable by offense. Power in moving in silence while the rest of the world scrambles for validation. Because here's the truth. When you finally learn to act like nothing bothers you, you begin to build what most people only dream of, a mind that serves you, a state that stabilizes you, and a path that opens before you like a road lit by inner fire. Your clarity sharpens. You no longer chase because you understand that what's meant for you will not pass you by. You no longer beg because you know your value is not in someone else's recognition. You no longer break because your foundation was never built on fragile things. This is the mindset of the builder. This is the resilience of the visionary. This is the stillness of the storm walker who doesn't avoid chaos. He walks through it, eyes open, heart steady, feet grounded. You do not need to flinch every time life tests you. You do not need to justify every step. You do not need to rush to fix every perception of you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them underestimate you. Let them speak while you keep building. Because when the dust settles, the doubters fall silent, and the world is forced to face the undeniable. You did not break. You did not fold. You did not stop. And that is the mark of a mind trained in mastery. You see, Hill understood this. In Think and Grow Rich, he spoke of the power of the mind to transmute, to take emotion, failure, delay, and transform it into fuel for your burning desire. But that doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you decide, no matter what comes, I will remain unmoved in my focus. That's not cold, that's courage. Because what's more courageous than facing life, pain, and pressure, and choosing stillness over reaction, discipline over drama, vision over vengeance? Your peace is not passivity. It is your weapon. It is your strategy. And it is your greatest form of power in a world obsessed with reaction. You want to dominate your field, train your response. You want to attract wealth, protect your energy. You want to reach your purpose, outgrow the need to prove yourself every time you're challenged. Say less, build more, feel it all, but respond like a master. Act like nothing bothers you. Not because you don't feel, but because you've chosen to be bigger than what tries to break you. Because when it's all said and done, you will not be remembered for how quickly you reacted. You'll be remembered for how powerfully you stood. There's a reason statues are carved from stone, because stone does not flinch. Stone does not bend every time the wind changes direction. Stone is sculpted with intention. And once formed, it stands. You must become like that. Not rigid, but rooted. Not cold, but centered. Able to feel without becoming fragile. Able to move without becoming manipulated. Because the moment your emotions become a reaction instead of a response, you hand your life over to anything loud enough to trigger you. And this is exactly what average people do. They live at the mercy of circumstance. If the traffic's bad, they're angry. If someone doesn't text back, they're anxious. If they lose a client, they spiral. Every external shake becomes an internal storm. And before they know it, their entire future has been sabotaged by one moment of weakness they never trained to resist. But you are not building an average life. You are building a life of precision, purpose, and peace. And peace must be chosen, not when things are perfect, but especially when they're not. When the noise is loud, you must go silent. When the pressure builds, you must breathe deeper. When the critics rise, you must rise higher. And when the world asks for a reaction, you must deliver a strategy. That is how leaders are built. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Not when everything works, but when everything tests you. Think about the legends. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison and came out with dignity still intact, grace still flowing from his voice, vision still burning in his chest. He didn't let bitterness own him. He didn't let injustice poison him. He chose something higher than reaction. He chose who he would become, no matter what the world had done to him. That is power. And that same power is available to you if you're willing to stop being driven by emotion and start being guided by intention. Because if you don't decide your emotional state, something else will. And in that case, you're not leading your life. You're just following whatever bothers you most today. Stop letting every little thing become a big thing. Stop turning molehills into mountains. Stop renting space in your mind to thoughts that do nothing but weaken your momentum. The mind is like a stage, and whatever takes the spotlight shapes your performance. So ask yourself, am I giving the spotlight to fear, to offense, to anger, or to purpose, vision, and peace? Every moment you get to choose. And no, it's not always easy. It's not always obvious, but it is always yours. That is the gift and the responsibility of being human. We are not animals reacting on instinct. We are not machines programmed by conditions. We are creators endowed with the ability to think beyond feeling, to decide beyond distraction, to build beyond breakdowns. The man who learns to act like nothing bothers him. He is not denying reality. He is commanding it. He has looked the storm in the eye and said, "You will not move me." He has felt the fear, the rage, the doubt, and decided to walk anyway, speak anyway, build anyway. That is how empires rise. That is how greatness is forged. Not in perfection, but in persistence. not in being untested, but in being unshaken. You don't have to be loud to be strong. You don't have to react to prove you care. You don't have to fight every battle to win the war. You just have to stay so rooted in who you are that nothing can knock you off your center. Yes, there will be days when it's hard, when the weight is heavy, when it feels like everything's falling apart and everyone's walking away. But those are the moments when your future is being written. Those are the hours when your legacy is being shaped. And those are the exact times when you must rise, hold your frame, and say the 5 most powerful words a leader can say: this does not move me. Because the world is always moving. But you don't have to chase it. You don't have to keep up with every opinion, trend, or threat. You just have to move forward quietly, powerfully, relentlessly, while everything else burns itself out in noise. Act like nothing bothers you, not because you don't care, but because you care too much to be thrown off course. This is what separates those who talk from those who build, those who hope from those who execute, those who dabble from those who dominate. You don't owe the world your reaction. You owe it your transformation. Would you like me to continue with the final section, bringing everything to a powerful, emotionally resonant climax? You said, yes, Chet. GPT said, here is the final section of your cinematic voiceover script titled, Learn to Act Like Nothing Bothers You, building to a climactic, emotionally charged conclusion. The greatest lie the world will try to sell you is that you must respond to everything, that you must prove your point, that you must defend your honor, that you must justify your every move to people who will never understand the size of your vision. But the truth is, the more powerful you become, the less you react. Because power is not performance. It is presence. And presence is built through mastery of self, through the daily discipline of choosing how you will show up, regardless of how the world shows up around you. You don't need the last word. You don't need to win the argument. You don't need to clap back, lash, or prove you're unshaken. You simply need to not be moved, because real power speaks through silence. Real confidence doesn't flinch when tested. And real mastery is felt, not announced. There is no greatness without composure. There is no self-mastery without restraint. There is no purpose fulfilled without the strength to walk through fire and never let the flames define you. And yes, you will be underestimated. They will mistake your calm for weakness. They will assume that because you don't react, you don't care. Let them. Because while they speak, you will build. While they mock, you will move. While they chase validation, you will chase vision. And in the end, when the dust settles, when the noise fades, when all the fragile egos have collapsed under the weight of their need to be seen, you will still be standing, not because you didn't feel the chaos, but because you trained your soul to rise above it. You will have learned the most powerful truth of all, that the world outside you can only shake you if the world inside you is not steady. So train it. Every single day, train your mind to focus, train your breath to anchor you, train your emotions to serve you, not sabotage you. Train your responses to be deliberate, not automatic. Train your heart to stay soft, but your presence to stay grounded. Because when you learn to act like nothing bothers you, you unlock the next level of your life. You begin to create without hesitation. You begin to walk into rooms with a quiet fire. You begin to speak less and build more. You begin to lead because you've learned to lead yourself, and that is what the world truly needs. Not more noise, not more reaction, not more rage, but leaders, builders, creators, men and women who have mastered their inner world so completely that no storm can rewrite the course of their destiny. So remember this: when the pressure comes, breathe. When the test arrives, smile. When the critics bark, build. When the noise rises, go silent. And when the world pushes, stand taller. You are not here to be easily moved. You are not here to be emotionally hijacked. You are not here to be swayed by every wave. You are here to lead, to create, to rise, to endure, to master, to walk like fire and never be burned. And from this day forward, you will act like nothing bothers you, because nothing deserves the power to